Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ebony. If you are new here, today's video we are talking about life-changing organization hacks or tips that will help you with organizing your space. I know that organization can be so overwhelming, especially if you're just getting started. So I just wanted to come on here and give you guys some tips and hacks that I use in order to keep my place tidy and organized. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is always make sure to tackle one space at a time. Like I said, organization as a whole can sound overwhelming, but it definitely is overwhelming if you're thinking about it at a large scale like that. So the best way to think about it is to just do one thing at a time. So one space at a time. So what you want to do is make sure to write all the spaces that you want to tackle within the month, let's say. And then if you have 5 spaces you want to tackle, you can do 1 space per month, or 1 space per week, or 2 spaces per week. And then you know exactly what spaces you're going to organize, and you're not just thinking of organization as like, oh, I got to organize my whole house, but rather than I need to organize my bathroom cabinet. It just puts it on a lot smaller scale, which means that it will be a lot easier for you to concept and also a lot easier for you to actually complete the task. Another tip if you are trying to organize any space within your home is to follow these 3 simple steps. The first thing you're always going to do with whatever space you decide that you want to tackle, first thing you're going to do is declutter that space. So you're going to get rid of things that you don't want, you're going to get rid of things that you can maybe give to someone, or you're going to throw away things. So if it's something that you can't use or someone else can't use, I would recommend going ahead and throwing it away. Once you declutter that space that you're organizing, the next thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and clean that space. So if that's simply using a spray and a cloth and just wiping it down, just making sure that the space that you're organizing, the space that you are about to organize, is going to be super clean. So after you declutter and after you clean that space, the last thing you're going to do is organize it. So the best way to go about organizing a space when you are, especially a small space, is to use baskets or bins to organize whatever is in that space. So if you are in a bathroom cabinet, you would of course use maybe 4 bins, 1 to organize all of your facial, 1 to organize all of your self-care products, 1 to organize all of your feminine products. So things like that. You want to make sure that each bin has a certain location. And then if you want to go ahead and take it one step further from that, I would recommend labeling your bins. If you're doing about 2 to 3 bins, you don't really have to worry about it because you pretty much know exactly what are in those bins. But if you are someone that likes to have a ton of bins and like to separate a lot of different things, I would definitely recommend using some labels, either writing it on with a Sharpie. You can be simple, or you can of course go that Pinterest worthy route and purchase some labels on Etsy. Definitely always make sure whenever you are organizing your space is that you use bins to separate the items. If you don't make that space functional for your family to where everybody knows where items go, what happens is it just accumulates. So you're going to have a whole bunch of different items all put in that one cabinet, rather than you go into a cabinet, you have 4 bins and you know exactly what goes in each 4 bins. So after you've tackled that one space, and then you decluttered, cleaned, and organized that space, the next thing is to continuously maintain it. This is one of the hardest things to do, and the reason why it's so hard is because sometimes when something is fresh and new, it's easy to maintain it. But whenever we tend to put it, like I said, whenever we tend to put it on the back burner, it tends to accumulate and things just build and build and build, and eventually you're starting back to square one. So it's very important to continuously organize a space. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go through these steps every single time. The best way to maintain an organized space is to put the item back where it belongs. Or for example, here with my mailing system, our mail system, is to go through the mail before we even place it in that drawer. There's no reason to have unopened mail in that drawer, because we always look at the mail. You're going to open the important stuff, and then so just throw away the non-important stuff. Just go ahead and tackle those steps before you even place it within that space. Another thing when you are doing continuous organization, You don't want to have to declutter and organize all these spaces and then 3 months down the road having to do it again. So it's very important to continuously work as a family or work as a household to maintain those areas so you don't have to feel so overwhelmed with organizing. And going off of continuous organization, another thing is don't let things accumulate either. So like if you have a space that you just know you look at every single day that you need to reorganize and it's only going to take you 5 minutes to do it, go ahead and get that spot organized. One thing is we continue to have it in our mind, which means you won't stop thinking about it, which means it sort of becomes a cycle. Normally we grocery shop once a week, and what I like to do before putting the new groceries within the refrigerator, I like to go in there, organize, throw out things that like leftovers that we didn't eat or things that are expired. I like to go through things each week before I let it accumulate over, you know, weeks and weeks, and then just add in the new with the old. Sometimes that can get complicated, so I always like to try to clean and organize my refrigerator before I put new items in there. Another example in the kitchen as well, which is to, when you're putting dishes in the clean dishes up, go ahead and take time to organize that space. If you see something that just looks like it needs to have an extra 5 minutes to organize, go ahead and use that time that you're already, you know, in the middle of putting up clean dishes. You can go ahead and organize that space instead of just piling on clean dishes to an unorganized space. That's just another tip for you guys, is just to, you know, try to make it fit your schedule. It doesn't have to be this long drawn out thing where you have to take hours and hours and hours of your day. It can be more of, you can just fit it in with just 5 or 10 minute increments within your routine that you're already doing. Another thing is, and this is not necessarily organization wise, but it definitely does help with how your space looks, or with how your space does look, it's just to always tidy up your area. So always take that 5 to 10 minutes maybe before you go to bed to clean up that space that just been driving you crazy all day. I'm more of a morning person, so I mostly do my tidying up in the morning. I know a lot of people do it at night, but just usually give yourself about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes to tidy up spaces within your home. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be organized, but it'll definitely make you feel a lot better with having a tidy space or like a clean space. Another great tip with organization is to definitely make sure it's functional. I know it's so easy to compare, like when you go on like Pinterest or Etsy, or you know, you can purchase all these crazy things as far as organization, but if it's not functional for your family, it's not going to work. So it's very important that everyone knows exactly where everything's going, what the plan is, where to put things back, where things are located. Being functional is definitely going to be the success of organization within your house, because if things are not functional, things are just going to go back to the way they were a few months down the road after you've worked so hard on organizing your space. So just make sure you make it functional for everybody within your household. Make sure it's easy. Make sure, you know, it's not just for you, but it's also for everyone in the household. So for example, what I did with the drawer that I organized for when we walk in the house for the mail, I just put a basket in there, and I thought, well, maybe once we know that that basket is full, it's time to organize that little space. Instead of just throwing everything in the drawer, at least it looks clean and neat because everything's in that basket. So now we know that once that basket becomes full, first of all, we're going to try our best not to fill the basket. But if the basket becomes full, we know that it's time to organize that space again. And then we also would like it a little bit better than having to go through having to go through a ton of stuff whenever we didn't have the basket in there, because it would just keep accumulating and accumulating. We definitely want to make this work and make it functional for our family, but for me, adding baskets or bins within a space especially helps with little ones. So if you have kids, using baskets within drawers or within cabinets definitely helps with knowing exactly where everything is and where to place things. You can use picture labels, you can use words, whatever you want to use, but it's very important that, I'm going to say it again, that you make it functional for your family, so that way you guys will be set up for success within organization of your home. And the last tip that I want to talk to you guys about is being okay with letting stuff go. I know a lot of times we get connected to like these material things, and you know, we don't want to let certain things go because it has a memory behind it, or maybe you bought something and didn't use it and now you really want to say, hey, you know, I might use it, you know, such and such down the road. And sorry about the lighting is definitely not the best today. I'm using my natural light behind me, so but just remember that the more you accumulate, statistics do show that the more you hold on to material things, it does hold a space within your mind. And letting go of things that take up space within your mind definitely reduces anxiety, reduces stress. It lets some of those endorphins out. So just keep that in mind when you are decluttering your items, is that if you don't declutter and you're trying to organize all those items within your space, is not really going to make that huge of a difference. So it's very important that you research how to declutter, and I'll put down below some decluttering videos that I've made, but you have to make sure that decluttering is part of your organization, because it will make a huge difference if you make sure that you declutter a lot of the items within your space. So just keep that in mind as well. I hope you guys enjoyed these life-changing organization tips. I hope these tips will help you on your organization journey. I know a lot of you guys come here because you love organizing or want to organize your space, and I always try to make it simple, because it can be very simple. It doesn't have to be this long drawn out project or, you know, thing that you probably see no end to. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. So just make sure to just follow some of these tips and tricks on organization, and it will make your life so much easier within that process. Don't forget to subscribe. I always forget to say that, but don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and make sure to hit the notification bell. It'll notify you every time I post a new video, as well as like this video. It'll let the YouTube algorithm know that you like this video, and they'll push it out to more people so we can share these videos with other people that might need them as well. I hope to see you guys in the next video. My next video will be out Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.